It's a difficult question to answer. If you ask them on the date, you should pay. I personally...
I gotta stop you there. How many women are asking men to date?
I've been asked twice.
All right.
I'm Natalie from the Gold Coast, Australia.
I'm Ross. I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Riley from Brooklyn, New York.
Shani from Christchurch, New Zealand.
I'm Clara from Dublin, Ireland.
I'm Stuart. I'm from Manchester, England.
It's not a relationship unless we've had the talk before this. Dating multiple partners is okay. 3, 2, 1.
I think dating culture is just kind of swapping and changing and no one really decides too quickly. So I think it's a little bit disposable at times until you actually have the chat.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, in Canada, it's very much the same. I mean, everyone's on dating apps nowadays. So until you actually have that exclusivity, you know, people are just going to be dating whomever and going on as many dates as possible.
Can I ask, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Really?
No, I mean, I would say I would have to disagree. I feel like if you are in the courting stages, I mean, like, why would I be courting 5 different people if my interest is on this person, my interest is on this person?
With New Zealand, it's a little bit of number of dates rather than conversation. So if you've been on one date only, you don't necessarily have like loyalties, but I think once you've been on a second date, there's sort of an underlying expectation that you then have a conversation before you date someone else.
I guess people I may know or have heard of would be playing the field, as it were, which I think is what the question means. It's like you play the field before you actually lock someone down, I get. Like, I don't... Yeah, that probably does happen in Ireland a lot, actually. Yeah.
I'd have to say the same for the UK, though. As Ireland, it's people just date everyone and anything until they figure out, okay, well, maybe not anything, but everyone. But yeah, just. But no, there'll be multiple dates with multiple people before they select the person they want to be with. I personally disagree with it. I think you need to build a rapport with one person. I mean, yeah, if it doesn't work out in the third date, then you have to kind of walk away from it. You should know by the third date, in my opinion. But a lot of people I know have dated multiple people at the same time. I don't understand how.
I think I've answered what my favourite colour is like 25 times this week. Hey, like, yeah, I went to that school. Okay, get over it.
And I don't know if any of us actually enjoy that level of jumping back and forth between people, but I think it's now our dating culture that we kind of have to just lean into it sometimes.
So who is against this? Raise your hand if you're totally against. Wow. My country is becoming commitment phobic, so it is hard to find someone who wants to commit to a relationship. 3, 2, 1.
I know a lot
As
of
if we
married
should be
people,
really
so it's like,
surprised.
huh?
You know a lot of married people. That's kind
Yeah,
of
I mean, like, I don't know, maybe it's the religion thing or something, but there just seems to be a very kind of like stages of living in Ireland where it's like, you know, ticked box, like get married,
Are we
kids.
talking present day or present day? I feel like everyone's commitment phobic.
It is hard because you're generalizing, and I mean, I know some people who are not at all commitment phobic and then others who are, but I would say on a whole it's a more acceptable, like people are more commitment phobic nowadays than they would have been 10 years ago.
And I think with online dating, you don't have to be accountable. Like, you can just ghost people because you don't have a character reference, you don't have accountability to friends or family. So there's an ease of doing that and you can just disappear and it doesn't matter.
It goes back to what we were talking about before about social media, right? Like, it's just so easy to be in and out of relationships and to find that level of commitment with someone as soon as, like, think Seinfeld.
She eats her peas one at a time.
You find something wrong with somebody, it's like, okay, all right, you know what? I can't deal with this crap. And the best way I like to describe relationships is it should come down to whose stuff, baggage you can deal with, because everyone has baggage.
Very true.
Right? Like, it's reality.
And I think there's been a big change and move from community into single main character energy.
Yep.
So it's no longer about how you can connect with your friendships, your relationships. It's like, where can I go?
Meeting online is the most common way to meet someone in my country, and I use online dating personally. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it's like a happy.
It's in the
Middle.
Yeah,
right? Like,
Yeah. We all have the same mindset. How crazy is that?
I'm dipping my toe in because I've removed myself from online dating currently because it's driving me wild.
That's
But as a majority, boom. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Manchester, I feel like, is an island. There's so many bars and clubs. Well, all my friends I know, they've all met their partners on a night out or through friends of friends, not on dating apps. Like, dating apps are big. I feel like dating apps now is just like a hookup and that's see you later kind of
Yep,
thing.
I was just gonna say,
It's not a relationship. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, who can I fuck next?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Exactly.
Perfect. But you meet people out and you get to know them or you see them in person, you're like, oh, actually no, this person's pretty cool. I'd say that's what it's like in Manchester. I don't know for the rest of the UK, but Manchester specifically, because there's so many bars and everyone goes out. If you're not drinking, then you're probably not English.
It is, it's really like that in Ireland
Yeah.
as well. But also because like it is that whole thing of like everyone in Ireland knows everyone. Like
Yeah.
100%. So like all your group of friends, like whatever, like
know
you grew
somebody,
up,
yeah.
you know, everyone knows everyone. So it just kind of becomes like, oh yeah, this person, you know, you kind of,
Yeah.
you'll figure it out through the grapevine.
The man is expected to pay in the early stages of dating in my country. 3, 2, 1.
Big time.
Bullshit. It's all the guys. What's going on?
I'm calling bullshit. I'm
Is
calling
it
bullshit.
Amazing, I love this.
You could ask a
It's
better
such a
question.
it's a difficult question to answer.
Oh,
feel like-
really?
Is it really that?
No, in the
not that
sense that
difficult.
like you get that people are like, oh well, if you ask them on the date, you should pay. I
I
personally,
gotta
always-
stop you there. How many women are asking men to date?
I've been asked twice.
All right, all right.
So I don't know what I'm doing different.
It's about the tattoo, right?
I mean, since getting a tattoo it worked. I don't know. So, there we go.
If I speak from personal experience, I don't think I've ever had a guy pay for a date in New Zealand, but every date I've been in Canada, the guy's paid. So
What
Like-
the?
I don't know, it's kind of like 50-50. I think the expectation is like splitting.
yeah,
I think
I'd
this is
say
more
that too. It's a 50-50.
because the women work as much as the men, so I think that is what it's moving
See,
towards.
I dated an Australian, and
Yeah.
it was very much like I'm paying. It was very much a traditional relationship.
I feel
So
like
that's
it's
interesting.
different though because you're coming from a standpoint of being in Canada.
Right.
Like I'm thinking of it. If when I dated here, it's very much like I don't know. You can split it, you can offer whatever. But going back to the UK, the expectation is always the guy to pay.
I think
on the
typically-
first date, at least, it's
Yeah.
that's the expectation. I don't know whether that's just the women in the UK.
I think typically the split
Just
is
saying.
what happens,
Just-
but the
no women-
expectation is that the dude,
Yeah.
pays. Yeah.
I think there's such a high regard for fairness in New Zealand. So I think that comes in the expectations of, okay, we're going to be fair, let's split it 50-50.
That's always how I felt, and I've paid for people on first dates, and I haven't asked them out because I want to be like, I got this.
Yeah.
See, in Ireland, it's kind of like I'm just horrified at receiving anything. It's like, you know, it's not even like, you know, I expect. It's like, oh, jeez, oh God, you're going to pay for it. Like this, I think there's this kind of, I don't know, Catholic guilt, shame, call it what you will, where it's just like, you know, we just don't feel like we're worth it. So it's, yeah, I think any of my girlfriends back home, like it is very much a thing of like, everyone will always fight to pay.
Having a sense of humor and having banter is our way of flirting. 3, 2, 1.
Big one. Yeah.
In terms of Canada, we have a lot of sarcasm. I know that's true for a lot in the UK as well. So it's natural. You gotta find humor in life. Even when things are really crappy, still gotta find the humor.
And the meaner you are, the more you like the person,
Yes.
generally.
So that's really true of New Zealand and Australia.
Yes.
Like where people often talk about how like if you insult someone, that's like a way of saying that you like them.
Yes.
I would say that that's not been how I've found dating in Canada. Like I think people here are there is banter and humor, but it's much nicer.
Yeah,
and I
everyone's
don't think
polite.
it's as insulting
Yes.
of you as a person. It's more
Yes.
just like I think it's more making like fun of like wider situations. Where like I think in New Zealand and the times I've visited Australia too, it's a little bit more of like mocking the individual.
Yes. Yes, and it's personal usually as well.
I hold in my hand a droopy wiener. Better put it down then, mate.
So it depends on how hard you can push before the person cracks. You're like, yeah, you're my person.
In the UK, it's very much banterous. You'll fire things back and forth. It's, I guess, dating different, like, especially moving to Canada in my personal situations. I find that I have to like tailor my banter back a little bit, my jokes back, because people don't really get it, because our humor's quite dark, quite dry. Canadians don't really find it that funny.
I do.
I don't know whether it's the same in Ireland, but I feel like
Oh
it's
yeah,
quite,
100%. Yeah.
it's just like
Right,
back and forth.
You
You
need
know?
therapy first before dating. Like, you're dating an Irish lad, prepare to be like absolutely laced into like regularly.
Yeah, that
You're like,
makes
God,
sense.
he's so nice. Yeah, I just punched him in the face yesterday. really feel this connection building. But I think again, it's really important. I think the dynamic of the relationship to have that and to be able to, as you say, like push those buttons, find that playfulness. Because yeah, fundamentally, like your relationship should be you're having the banter with whoever it is that you're with. If it becomes this kind of like, oh, Shell, let's just, I love you, sweetie. Okay, have a good day. Oh, yeah, you look nice.
Casual sex and hookups are common in my country.
Oh God.
3, 2, 1. There's a pattern here.
Very big pattern.
So it's like, get out there, be your best self, but have lots of sex and don't hook up with the idea of commitment and YOLO.
Yeah, social media, right?
Yeah.
We spoke about it. People are everywhere. You know, it's hard for them to commit to one relationship because they're always looking for that next person or a sack of money, so to speak. You always want to be climbing, right?
The hypergamy. Yes, people going people.
I also think it's like with a change in how religious countries are. Like in that New Zealand is, I think they call themselves post-Christian country now. And so I think with that, there is still a bunch of people in New Zealand who are quite religious and don't follow a hookup culture. But more and more, the society is fully okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, for a nation of absolute self-loathers, like it's just, you know, people are on that.
Oh,
train.
Ireland.
It's like that
We need to give you
self-sabotage
a
train.
Kleenex.
We're going on
Yeah,
it. 14 tequila shots deep, and then you're like, oh no. Like, yeah, I've heard a lot of terrible stories, and yeah, it's definitely a thing, regretfully, but.
Yeah, I'd say the same. It's just, I think that's what people do. I guess it's not dating, they're just like, I'm doing this just because they want fun. That's not dating, that's just having fun. I think it's culture everywhere now.
I hate the dating scene in my country. 3, 2, 1.
I think with New Zealand, there is not really a culture of being direct and asking people on a date. It's like you sort of skirt the issue and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go pick up this. Do you want to come with me? Like while I run errands. I have found that sometimes confusing.
That's weird. So I would think that New Zealand men are, macho, strong, and confident, where they would just be like, hey, you come with me now. And instead you're telling me it's the complete opposite.
That's a Portuguese man.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's a lot of Portuguese men there, yeah.
Get out of the car and just do the haka and just like, right, you ready to go? Yeah, no, well, it's in Ireland, it's all fucking drink, really. So it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, where do you want to go? It's like, pull up. Oh my God,
What
it's
else is
so
there to do?
original.
I think it's just complex. It's hard, it's difficult, it should be simple. No one's direct, too much ghosting. Let's just go back to meeting someone playing sport or at the pub or through a friend of a friend of a friend. Like, let's do simple.
You know what the problem is, I think, with the advent of social media and, all that stuff, like, everybody's trying to show their best life.
Yeah.
So that's why nobody wants to be direct, because, you're going to have to put on this facade just to even get a date, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Prerequisites already to
Yeah.
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 You make a good point. I mean, it's all fake, right? Like
Yeah.
a lot of it is fake.
The communication between people, like people don't know how to communicate anymore. Like especially in the UK, but even here, like people just don't know how to talk. It's like what you're saying, you don't know, like you're running errands, but like, are we hanging out? Like, what are we doing? Like, ask me out. If you want to go out, ask me out. If you don't want to talk to me, tell me, don't just ghost me.
Thank you guys so much.
Hey all, hope you enjoyed the Anglophone videos. I really wanted to do this one just because we always talk about the difference between the Americans and the Europeans, but actually Americans are not the only ones to date the way that they date, to have the talk and to do all of that stuff. Actually, most, if not all, of the Anglophone countries do something very, very similar. So I really wanted to shed some light and show the contrast between those cultures and the similarities between them. So if you want to see more of these countries, let us know below. What did you think about the discussion? I try to keep this deep. So if you could relate, if you like the depth, then please give it a like and give it a share. And as well, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more on dating around the world. If you guys are not subscribed, it literally takes 1 second. And if you hit the bell button, you don't miss out on future content. I will be posting a lot more stuff on the road, so stay tuned for that, as we're going to be hitting so many interesting topics in the newest videos. I will see you next week with a new videos, and of course, keep breaking down your barriers.